Okay, we're back with part 3. So that dried up really nice and pretty flat. Got it upside down, so I'm trying to open it on the wrong side. Okay, I'm happy with the way that turned out. I'm not going to decoupage this yet because this will be my front and I want to, add things to it. I did go ahead and cut out some butterflies. I think I'm going to use them in the book, and it's from this leftover paper, and also this was like an edge and I thought it kind of looked cool. I usually end up putting embossing powder or something on them, and then I with the leftover of the inside cover, I cut my tabs. I'm going to use a different tab this time. This one is a We Are Memory Makers or Keepers. Keepers, I always call them makers. And I wanted to show you how I do that. So let's set that aside. And I'm just going to use a piece of scrap from something. I don't know. Okay, so what you want to do, well, at least this is what I do. I find it really easy to do it this way. I'm just going to score at 3/4 of an inch and then 1.5 inches. It's just basically to give me some cutting lines. So I will just cut this in half. And then I'm going to cut the second line. And then I'm going to fold this back. Now, I usually keep this open. I find it a pain. If you just want a flat tab, then yeah, go ahead. But I like to have mine folded in half. So what you have to do is put it in with the open side first. Now, it can be a little hard to get in there. It's not a very large opening. So I just kind of thread it in there. And I'm really cheap, so I try to go pretty much to the end if I can. And then what you want to do is, let me get this lined up and then I'll show you. Okay, so I don't know if that shows, but there's a little bit of a gap there, and then you want to just squeeze it so that when it comes out, you haven't cut the top part. So you can use almost anything as a tab punch. Just fold your paper over and then punch it out without hitting the edge, and you have yourself a little tab. So that's how I work those. Now, what else was I going to show you? Oh yes, I downloaded something from Pinterest. There were 4 images. Let me grab my bag of goodies and I'll just find that quick for you. Yeah. Okay, so some of them I printed 2 on a page and some I did full page. This one printed out on auto, so it's really light. I wasn't happy with it, but I kept it because, I might be able to do something with it. This is how it printed out full page, and that's on standard print, and that's again for the Canon, so huge difference, although this is pretty too. So I printed this one full, and then obviously I cut just the face out. So this is what I want to do. I want to add this to my front cover, and then with the rest of the sheet I kind of tore pieces off, and I'm going to end up collaging them on here, just layering them. I'm not exactly sure how. I had it up. Let me do this way because I can't do things upside down. I wanted some music notes at the top. Now, when you're placing things on a book or, whatever, a layout, you want to create a triangle effect. So I'm going with my triangle going this way. Usually I go the other way, but I decided to go the opposite direction. I think because of her face. She's looking that way, so I decided to make the triangle go this way. It's something to do with how you view things, and apparently it's way more pleasing if you do it like this. So let me think. I want that at the top. I had this all placed and now I forget what I did, which is so typical of me. Then I cut out my butterflies. Now these are memory box. I don't know the name. All the different sizes have names. This is like a medium-sized butterfly. I have the smaller one and I have the great big monarch one. The big one was too big. The small one's obviously too small. It's like the Three Little Bears. And so I did it, you know, just from the leftover paper. And I think I'm going to do something to this effect. Not sure about that piece yet. I want some music notes showing for sure. No, I don't like that piece. So something to this effect anyways. I want to include a butterfly because there's butterflies, you know, it's a winged theme. And then I have, it also cuts out the little body, so that'll go on there. But I think I'm going to emboss the butterfly. Let me look at that again and see if I like that. I think I want the butterfly down farther. Yeah, that's better. Okay, she's gonna go about there. I like that up here. Let's move this. I might like that better. And then put a small one down here. This won't be the one I use, but I'll just for visualizing. Just go that way. Yep, think that's it. So I do have leftovers that I will cut the butterfly out of. I have a small one. I also have a pale pink that might be pretty too in here. We'll see. I'll do that later. But in the meantime, I need to ink it up. So again, I'm going to use the archival so that it doesn't run. And I'm going to let those dry. My it's getting really worn, so it's giving me little pills of foam. So I've told you guys this before, I always ink my edges to get rid of the white line, the core color. And sometimes I'm heavy-handed and sometimes I'm not. Just really depends. Okay, this little guy, this is harder to do, this one. It's very delicate. And I can do a little bit of the bigger holes. Smaller ones are harder to do. But again, like I said, you go from underneath, it works a little better. This is why I always have ink on my hands. So it's another dreary day here in beautiful British Columbia. Sunday morning. What time is it? It's like 8 o'clock almost in the morning and it's still dark. At least it's warm. Got rid of that cold weather. Okay, and then just the little body. Okay. Now I don't want to lose those, so let's ink up this stuff too. When you're collaging, it just looks so nice when you ink around your pieces. They stand out a little bit more. If you want them to fade into the background, then you don't ink them. But oh, I know, this was over here. And this was up here, I think. Let's see. That piece. I guess I had this. Oh, I don't even know. Well, let's just get them all. I'm going to tear this part off here just in case I move it. I don't want the straight edge. So, if you haven't noticed, I change my mind a lot. So I'm ditching my husband tonight and going out for dinner. All our co-workers are getting together for a dinner, which is always challenging for me since I eat low carb. But fortunately, my co-worker, whose house it is we're going to, she has to watch what she eats. She has celiac. So she's even, it's harder for her than it is for me. Okay. Now let's get this the way I want it, which I'm not quite sure how I want it now that I've moved it. Again, that's wrong. I guess I had it like that. Not quite sure. Well, what we'll do then, because I'm not happy, And let's be honest here, it's all about me, right? I'm going to think about it, but get these pieces all prepped. And then what I'm going to do is the butterfly. So get that out of the way. And I'm going to grab some scrap paper and my distress embossing. Doesn't always work on the thin stuff, so I kind of have to do it this way. I don't necessarily want it completely covered. Okie doke. Now, I always use these kind of pliers because they have a rubber handle and it helps with burning. All right, I need another scrap here. And I'm going to use my chunky gold embossing enamel by Stampendous. So you can see it's way heavier stuff. I don't want it everywhere. Okay. And for all the newbies there, I can emboss right on my craft mat because it's heat safe. And with the embossing enamel, I use the Ranger's craft tool. It doesn't blow the air as hard as the embossing gun, like this one. This is really, well, here. It's much faster than this one. Okay? So I will, you know, kind of get it hot first. And then I start up high. Get it so it's starting to melt a little, and then it will stick to the butterfly. And then I get a little closer. How about if I zoom in for you? There. So it's just a little bit of gold, but to me that gives sort of an aged effect. And then this stuff that ends up on your craft sheet, you see it just comes right off. So there you go. Okay. Now this will lay on this. So now you can see the gold better. Okay, I'm going to telephoto out. And I have a Xyron, and it makes stickers, basically, makes these into stickers. And this one is the little 2.5 inch. I also have the 5-inch one. First, I like this one for small items. And for something like this, it's quite delicate. I would start with the wide, you know, the ones that are close together. And I push it so that you can I don't know if that shows, but it's just on the paper. Okay, and then you just simply crank. And I'm really cheap, so I just make sure it's just passed. I don't like to waste any. So that makes life easier. Then I just rub it, because there would be some sticky stuff that you don't want. See, it didn't make it on that, but that's no biggie. I'll just use a dab of glue. It's so much easier than trying to glue the whole thing. Now, for some reason, this die, these are paired, right? But for some reason, this piece is a little bigger than this piece, which really annoyed me because I didn't notice it till I went to use it and discovered that. So, of course, I threw out all the packaging and I threw out the receipt, and so I couldn't return it. I think it's just a defect. So I'm going to go slightly off the paper, the bottom part, just so that a lot of it will stick to the actual butterfly. I kind of do a little manipulating here, just so a lot of it sticks on there. And the shiny parts are where I do have a little bit of that excess glue, which eventually will rub off. But in my case, it doesn't really matter because I'm probably going to decoupage right over the butterfly. But that's your cute little butterfly. Okay. Now, what I will do is I will play with this until I get it layered the way I want it, and then I will decoupage the whole thing on there, and I'll come back with starting the pages. Okay? So thanks for joining in, and we'll talk soon. Thanks. Bye.